A historic day at the White House as President Trump welcomes Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa. This is the first visit by a Syrian head of state since the Middle Eastern country gained independence from France back in 1946. The two leaders expected to discuss several issues, including allowing Syria to work more closely with U.S. forces to fight the Islamic State group. Al-Sharaa once had ties to al-Qaeda and was on the most wanted list with a $10 million bounty on his head. He also once battled against U.S. forces in Iraq and was even imprisoned by U.S. troops there for several years. NewsNation's Hannah Brandt joins us live from the White House. Hannah, this is really a significant visit today.
Nichole, it absolutely is a historic visit, as you said. This is a meeting that's happening behind closed doors here at the White House. No cameras inside, but it's been going on for over an hour now. And this visit really is significant. It comes amid a shift in U.S. policy towards Syria after what's been years of diplomatic isolation for the country. Now, President Trump first met with Syria's new president, Ahmed al-Sharaa, back in May in Saudi Arabia. And that's when the president began lifting sanctions on Syria, with the goal, he said, of helping Syria along with its reconstruction process. Now, the U.S. also recently, just days ago, removed al-Sharaa and other Syrian leaders from official sanction and terrorist lists. And that move really clearing the path for more high-level diplomatic engagement like this sit-down meeting that's happening right now. Today, a senior administration official does tell NewsNation that the White House is expecting al-Sharaa to commit to joining the U.S.-led coalition to defeat ISIS. And we're also anticipating that the leaders are discussing more sanctions relief and more U.S.-Syria military cooperation as well. The White House has really described this meeting as part of the president's larger efforts to pursue peace in the Middle East and to further the progress under new Syrian leadership. Here's what President Trump himself said about this meeting and the Syrian president just last week.
It's a tough neighborhood, and he's a tough guy, but I got along with him very well, and a lot of progress has been made with Syria. That's a tough one, but a lot of progress has been made. We'll see what happens, but I would be open to it. But we did take the sanctions off Syria in order to give them a fighting shot, and I think so far I think he's doing a very good job so far.
Like I said, that meeting happening behind closed doors and away from cameras, so we are waiting for it to wrap up and to listen to what the White House has to say about it. But I'd also like to note President Trump, he's currently waived those sanctions that the U.S. had been imposing on Syria, but a permanent repeal of those sanctions would require some action from Congress. That is something we've seen senators working on. But while there are some lawmakers who support a simple end to those sanctions, there are others who want to set conditions for a repeal of the sanctions, Nichole.
Yeah, so Hannah, there's been some criticism coming from Republicans who say the president is putting too much emphasis on foreign policy, meeting with these foreign leaders instead of really focusing on domestic issues. What are you hearing about that?
Well, multiple of President Trump's close allies are criticizing the foreign focus that we've seen, some saying last week's election loss actually shows Republicans aren't spending enough time on the domestic issues, namely affordability. Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, we know she's a close Trump ally. She's one of the people who pointed out just today that the president is meeting with someone who was previously designated as a terrorist by the U.S. on the 250th anniversary of the Marines. She wrote in her post, "I would really like to see nonstop meetings at the White House on domestic policy, not foreign policy, and foreign countries' leaders. Start by hauling in the health insurance companies' executives, and let's start formulating our Republican plan to save America from Obamacare and ACA tax credits." This is an issue that she also raised with our Blake Berman on the Hill just last week.
When we said no more foreign wars, we meant it, and that meant don't send our money and our weapons. That didn't mean go all over the world talking to all the foreign countries. When we said put America first.
We've also heard the same sentiment from Ohio governor candidate Vivek Ramaswamy and MAGA leader Steve Bannon. Vance has been downplaying the post-election criticism, but he himself said in a post that the Trump administration does need to focus on the home front, Nichole.
All right, Hannah Brandt, live for us there in D.C. Hannah, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.